Okay, so on to the next track in Sonia's music marathon, man. This over here is Scorpions, Wind of Change. I think I've heard of the Scorpions before. I don't know much about the discography, I must be honest. I don't have any of their music on my playlist. But I have heard, I think we might have reacted to one or two songs by the Scorpions before, but obviously we haven't done this one. The message over here from Sonia is celebrating Glasnost and the end of the Cold War. Alright, let's rock and roll. For those of you who are only joining us now, I suggest you go back to the beginning of the series and start from there, because there's great pieces of music that we've reacted to so far. And very quickly, if you want additional content, I'm leaving the link down in the pinned comment, and I'm going to leave the link down in the description. You can go to the Sphere. There's one additional video in the Sphere every single day. There's going to be one additional piece of content in the Sphere for you to watch. That's only coming from me right now, but then from the 1st of February, then you're going to get it from 3 other reactors as well. So for one small fee per month, you are going to get additional content from 4 people, which if you think about it, that's 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 150. Is it 150? Let's say 120. 120 additional reactions, additional pieces of content every single month. Right, which is absolutely awesome. You'll be getting 30 from me, 30 from Alex, 30 from Wolf, and 30 from Mugify in the Sphere. So yeah, it's really well worth it. And yeah, you guys let me know if you want to do that. Links are down in the description, or you can join the Fable community, which is completely and utterly free. I've said this in my other videos. Links are in the description. Let's rock and roll, man. Scorpions, Wind of Change. Let's go.
Follow the Moskva down to Gonky Park, listening to the wind of change. An August summer night, soldiers passing by, listening to the wind of change.
Okay, so full disclosure, I've definitely heard this song before in passing, right? I haven't heard this song in so damn long. We've never actually gone through the actual lyrics itself and what the song is about. We've never actually reacted to the song at all. So, yeah, beautiful song. I do definitely remember it's a very distinct sound, that's whistling, that, you know? So, yeah, I think actually this is probably on my dad's playlist as well. Anyway, let's rock and roll. Famous Tiananmen Square footage over there where the kid stood in front of the tank. Yeah, crazy time then.
The world is closing in. Did you ever think that we could be so close, like brothers? The future's in the air, can feel it everywhere. I'm blowing.
It's so crazy to listen to this song today. It feels like there's been, like, between this and where we are right now, all of that was kind of like just a blur, right? Between the end of the Cold War, end of the Cold War was what, 1991, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comment section below. I think 1991 was the end of Cold War, where the Soviet Union actually got dismantled. But between fighting communism and Stalinism and all that kind of shit, and then having a world that was in sort of relative peace. I wouldn't say it was in peace, but it was in sort of relative peace, right? Where the bigger superpowers weren't actually fighting against each other, or we weren't having this, Cold War. That to a point now where we're actually edging towards a hot war with all of these superpowers is crazy. Like, just what a beautiful song for the time, where it's like I feel winds of changing, I can feel brothers getting together, I can feel that there's a better future coming. right? But listening to that in 2023, it's the opposite. I can feel the winds of changing. Shit's getting fucking real. Everyone's polarized. Everybody hates each other, and everybody wants fucking war. Peace activists are nowhere to be found. Everyone seems to just be wanting to go to war, right? So now we're just going back into those dark days again. And if we get this kicked off in a real fucking way, I'm not entirely sure we can bring that all back. I'm not entirely sure we will be able to fight back out of this kind of tyranny. I'm talking about our own tyranny. I'm not talking about tyranny outside. I'm talking about our own tyranny within our own fucking borders, within our own politicians. That level of fucking tyranny and the pursuit of getting everybody to comply and getting everybody to be involved in a fucking state system that is highly controlled and things like that, right? It almost feels like we're sort of reading from the Soviet playbook now, right? And we desperately want to bring that into our own societies. I don't know. That's just me. But it's sad. It's sad that between this and now, all of those years kind of feel like a blur. They were good, but times are changing, man.
I'm blowing with the wind of change. Take me to the magic of the moment on a glory night, where the children of tomorrow dream away in the wind of change. Walking down the street, distant memories are buried in the past forever. I follow the Moskva down to Gorky Park, listening to the wind of change.
It's just a beautiful thing to think of, specifically when you're thinking of the children of the tomorrow. You know, it actually felt like they had a future. Today, it feels like the children of tomorrow. You don't know. It's very uncertain. The world is changing so fast right now that you don't know what your children's future is going to be like. Do you know what I mean? You don't know if it's going to be embroiled in war. You don't know if it's going to be embroiled in sort of totalitarian governments. You don't know, but you can actually see what's actually happening. The writing's on the world, and things are changing drastically, and not for the better. They're changing for the worse at the end of the day. And the reason why we're getting all of that is because the politicians and the elites in the fucking system has forgotten who they fucking work for. Specifically in the Western world, which is supposedly supposed to be democratic, they've actually forgotten who they work for, right? These politicians work for themselves and for their special interests and for their donors. That's the only people they work for. Do you know what I mean? There's no foresight into the people. The people don't matter. The people are pawns for their own little agenda, right? And then they hand to you on what seems like a silver platter democracy, but it's not. It's the illusion of democracy, right? It really is the illusion of democracy, because the elites cannot be held accountable for nothing anymore. And that's the problem. That's the problem that we're seeing right now. That's the problem with the people who like dislike and hate Trump. I'm not a big fan of Trump myself, but I can completely understand why people would go that route, right? And if you think that that's just, because those people are fucking idiots, then you're fucking idiotic. You're moronic because you're not looking at the base bedrock of the fucking problem. When people feel like the system has given them one in the arse, right? When people don't trust the system anymore, they are going to go for the metaphorical guillotine. That's what people do. Back in the French Revolution, they went for the actual guillotines when the fucking higher powers let them down. They lost their heads. Today, we don't do that, right? We're not barbaric like that anymore. But what we do is we do get the metaphorical guillotines where we bring in, even whether it's for good or worse, it doesn't matter. It's the guy that's not part of the system. It's the guy that doesn't speak like the system. The guy that is brash and is authentic and is is who he is at the end of the day. And I'm not saying authentic as in it's like a good thing. It's just he's authentically him. The guy's made of fucking mud. Do you know what I mean? He's made of mud. It doesn't matter how much mud you can throw on the guy. The guy's made of mud. Everything's already baked into the cake. Everybody knows who he is at the end of the day. But what the people don't trust is the sneaky politician that comes there, which is scripted and reads off the teleprompter as if he's got something to offer you and has had something to offer you, but has never offered you it, or has never come through on it, and has failed and failed and failed and failed, and it's just failed policy on failed policy on failed policy, and it's more bullshit and more excuses and more bullshit and more excuses, and there's never enough money, but there's always enough money for wars, and then they give you more bullshit, and they try to get people all divided and fighting between each other over stupid ideological culture wars. It's bullshit, right? That's what the people are done with. That's what the people are done with. Even the people that don't like a character like Trump, right, are going to be like, you know what? Rather him than the fucking system. He is the metaphorical guillotine. And this is what people do not understand. People don't understand whether you like the guy or you don't like the guy. You need to understand why the guy is so popular, right? And if you want to learn from your mistakes, maybe it's time to sort of go right down to the bedrock, the foundation and the bedrock of where this all fucking started, and realize who really is at fault over here. Do you know what I mean? Who really is at fault? It's the people who created policies that never came to fruition. It's the people that have got failed policy on failed policy on failed policy and have asked you for more power, and they fail again, and then after they fail they say, okay, well, give us more power and we'll fix it, and then you give them more power and they don't fix it, and they only enrich themselves and fuck the population. And you can see the whole demeanor amongst the political elite is that the people, fuck, deplorables, oh, idiots, oh, this and that and that. How do you speak to a base of millions of people in that fashion? Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. This is why we are in the state that we're in, and it's sad to see. Carry on.
Tomorrow, dream away in the wind of change. The wind of change blows straight into the face of time, like a storm wind. Then we ring the freedom bell for peace of mind. Play the bala like I sing what my guitar wants to sing.
Brilliant song, this though.
When you look at it from up here, you get an appreciation of our world is a beautiful place and we do need to take care of it.
Certainly so. Great stuff. Great song. Love it. Absolutely great song. Absolutely fantastic song. I wish we could say we're in that moment, but we absolutely are not in that moment at the moment. We can only be hopeful and optimistic, and we can only fight and do what we need to do. But you think about this, what people actually fought for, what brave men and women lost their lives for. Do you know what I mean? They lost their lives for a greater purpose, a greater good. And I cannot possibly fathom today that the majority of people would want to take up arms and fight for the benefits of an elite. Because that's all that we're fighting for now. If they had to recruit you into the military, you know what I mean, to fight what to fight the benefits of the elite, to fight people's proxy wars, that they can make more money on weaponry. That's what it is now, right? Majority of these wars could have all been avoided. Every single one of them could have been avoided, but they didn't. They weren't avoided, right? And we didn't learn from our mistakes, not from Iraq, not from fucking anywhere. We didn't learn any of the mistakes. Because why? Because the military complex needs to make more money. Do you know what I mean? And the problem is that you've lost the trust of the people, and when you've lost the trust of the people are not going to want to fight for fat cats to make themselves richer. So it's going to be an interesting time. It's going to be an interesting time when we get to a point where they're going to have to recruit all of the men that they need to fight all of these wars after alienating them and calling them deplorables and calling them misogynistic and calling them terrible and calling them all of this kind of thing. I wonder how much people are going to be willing to take up arms for a class that has done that to them. Well, we'll see. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!